Danielle Smith with Global News Radio 770 CHQR. What do you make out of today, Danielle?
I'm exhausted watching Jason Kenney, the new premier. I mean, I think he hasn't even been there for 48 hours. And look at all of the things that he has done and all of the fights he's launched and all of the lawsuits that we're going to get involved in. He already gave a presentation before the Senate committee on Bill C-48, the tanker ban, and then today flying to Ottawa to not just meet with the Prime Minister, but also this morning speaking against Bill C-69. This, to me, is the right emphasis. This is, I think, why people ultimately made the decision to change governments, is that even though Rachel Notley ultimately made these presentations, where was she when they were going through the process of drafting them in the House of Commons? They needed to be stopped at that level. At this stage in the Senate, it's really like an 11th, just the 11th hour kind of decision making to try to get the Senate to push it off, and that rarely happens. So he really is quite right in what he's doing, the emphasis he is putting on, because as we're getting into the potential for a fall election launch anytime here, because sometimes they start them early. This is the kind of legislation that the Prime Minister has two choices on. He can either quickly pass it through, proclaim it, and then run on it, or it can be delayed and ultimately, if he wins a re-election, say we can bring it back in a different form. I think that Kenney is trying to push for that second option. And I guess we'll see today when they have a conversation and joint press conference whether or not he's making any inroads on that. But I think he's doing the exact right thing, being absolutely crystal clear. There isn't any room to maneuver in just minor tweaking on either of these two bills. They're devastating for our industry, and he's not going to put rose-colored glasses on or to mince his words when he's telling the Prime Minister that.
Yeah, what are you expecting out of that sit-down between the PM and Kenney?
Well, I think we know where this path goes. I mean, if it does get passed and these two bills do get proclaimed, we're in the middle of another lawsuit. So we've got a lawsuit going on with British Columbia. They're challenging our bill. We'll launch a lawsuit against Bill C-48. We'll launch a lawsuit against C-69 after a referendum on equalization. Another constitutional challenge there. So I think we've got a lot of litigation in our future. I mean, he also has said he's going to launch a lawsuit against the foreign-funded environmental groups that are behind these two pieces of legislation that ended up getting passed at the federal level, or that passed through the House of Commons at the federal level. So I think that the Prime Minister has to see a path forward. He has to see a way that he can take these two bills off the table and still win government again. He has to be able to win seats in Quebec and British Columbia, which are his overriding concern right now. And I don't know that we've seen the talking points that he can use to get him to that point yet. Maybe Jason Kenney will be able to help him out with that, but we'll be able to tell more from the tone of their press conference later today.
Yeah, we've got our dukes up all over the place. Thanks, Danielle.
Thanks.
Danielle's show starts at 9:30 this morning. Global News Radio 770 CHQR.